The Last Promise of Don Marius. A story of power, loyalty, and redemption. In the heart of a city that never sleeps, where the streets smell of smoke and betrayal, there lived a man known only as Don Marius, the most feared and respected mafia boss in the East. His name made even the police whisper. His eyes, cold as winter. His word, law. But behind the power and the luxury, there was something darker. A man haunted by promises, ghosts, and regrets that no bullet could kill. The Rise. Don Marius wasn't born powerful. He was born hungry, the kind of hunger that eats at a boy until he learns to take what the world won't give. As a child, he watched his father beaten to death by debt collectors. His mother, broken by poverty, died soon after. From that day, he swore no one would ever touch him again. He started small, street fights, smuggling, then robbery. But Marius had one thing others didn't, a mind colder than fear itself. He built an empire not just with bullets, but with strategy. Every rival who thought he could outsmart him ended up either working for him or lying under the city's soil. By 30, Marius controlled the docks, the clubs, the politics. Even the judges smiled when he passed. He was untouchable. The son of a rival. One night, during a meeting at his mansion, one of his men brought in a young thief, maybe 19, shaking, blood on his lip. The boy had stolen from one of Marius's warehouses. Marius looked at him and asked, "Do you know whose goods you took?" The boy swallowed hard. "Yours." "Then why aren't you begging for your life?" The boy lifted his chin. "Because I don't beg. You killed my father. I came to take back what's ours." The room fell silent. It was then Marius saw the resemblance. The boy was the son of his greatest enemy, killed years ago in a gun war. But instead of pulling the trigger, Marius said, "You've got fire. What's your name?" "Leo," the boy answered. "Then from today," Marius said, "you work for me." The bond. Months turned into years. Leo became the son Marius never had. He learned the business, earned respect, and even saved Marius's life once during an ambush. But as their bond grew, so did Marius's guilt. He had taken everything from Leo, his father, his childhood, his peace, and replaced it with blood money. Still, he couldn't let the boy go. He saw in him the reflection of the man he once was, angry, ambitious, dangerous. The betrayal. One rainy night, Marius received word. Someone in his inner circle was leaking information to the police. Deals were falling apart, men disappearing. He called a meeting. Thunder roared outside as his men lined the room. Then, from the shadows, one of his guards threw a file onto the table. Inside, photos, evidence. The traitor was Leo. Marius's heart cracked in silence. He called Leo in. The boy entered, soaked from the rain. "Is it true?" Marius asked quietly. "You've been feeding them?" Leo's jaw tightened. "I didn't want to, but they promised to clear my family's name. You destroyed it." Marius's voice broke for the first time. "I gave you everything." Leo whispered, "No, you gave me chains." They stared at each other, father and son, killer and victim, love and hate, all in one breath. Marius raised his gun. Leo didn't flinch. But Marius couldn't shoot. He dropped the gun and whispered, "Get out before I change my mind." Leo left into the storm. That was the last time Marius saw him alive. The fall. Weeks later, the police raided Marius's empire. One by one, his men were arrested. His wealth burned, his allies vanished. He escaped to the countryside, hiding in a crumbling house where only ghosts kept him company. Every night he saw Leo's face in the rain. Every night he replayed the moment he let him go. He thought about calling him, finding him, but pride, that same poison that built his empire, kept him silent. The Last Promise. Years later, an old and sick Marius sat alone by the window of a safe house. A knock came. It was a woman, Leo's sister. She handed him a letter. Leo had been killed by corrupt officers, the same ones who used him to destroy Marius. In the letter, Leo wrote, "I never hated you, old man. I just wanted to know if monsters can change. I guess we both learned too late." Marius folded the letter with shaking hands and whispered, "No one wins in this life. We all just lose differently." That night, for the first time, Don Marius prayed, not for mercy, not for power, but for peace. And when the sun rose, his men found him sitting by the window, eyes open, letter in hand, smiling. Moral of the story: power without peace is emptiness. Revenge without forgiveness is a curse. And no empire, no matter how strong, can outlive the heart that built it. If stories like this touch your soul, remember, legends don't die, they're told. Subscribe to Legend Alive and let every story remind us to listen, to feel, to heal.